Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and I'm going to be honest, I filmed the first sections of this tutorial way long ago. So I do not recall what I said there. But I am today going to show you how to make this pair of toddler-sized kind of lounge comfy pants, my kids call them, out of single crochets, half double crochets. The legs are mostly double, and at the bottom here we finish it off with a shell stitch to make it pretty. We're then going to sew the band over. I've concealed an optional length of 1/2 inch elastic. You can use 1/2 inch, you can use 3/4, you can use 1 inch. I don't think you need to go as far as 2 inch elastic. I would not at all recommend 1/4 inch elastic. And then I also added an optional drawstring. Both of those are optional. I do recommend using one of the two. I used for this acrylic yarn, but I am fully aware that cotton yarn would have been more comfortable and durable for bingo. But the first pair of pants I made her, purple pants, were acrylic, and she wanted a pair of pink pants. I'm using Big Twist Value acrylic, and this is the colorway Light Rose. It's kind of a ballet pink in my opinion. She's excited. Use whatever color you want. Use whatever trips your trigger. Use cotton. I think it would be better in cotton, but you do you, boo. I still have not sewn in the ends, so yeah, you're seeing ends. Those ends need to get sewn in. It's okay. I'm just introducing you to what we are creating together. Yay! Are my legs not the same length? No, they're good. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys later, and please enjoy the tutorial. Oh, note up front, I filmed these on 2 different devices, so the picture might look quite different. There might be a shift in picture quality, volume, audio quality. I apologize. I started this tutorial a very long time ago. Supplies you're gonna need. Oh goodness. For this particular pair, I used a 5mm crochet hook, whatever variety you want. You're gonna need scissors, a yarn needle. You're probably gonna want to measure your kiddo before you start making this to make sure it fits. I pretty much made this to Bingo's size. When I made these, she was a 3T, 4T. She is now a 4T, 5T. We're crossing our fingers that they fit her for at least a week. Okay, now I'm gonna go let you go and enjoy the tutorial. Bye. A couple people asked if I would do a tutorial on it, so I said why not. So what we're doing is basically making 2 panels just like this. It's a combination of single crochet, some half doubles, and then the main part of the leg is worked in double crochet, and then I've ended it with a nice little shell stitch to just give it the little bit of girly, you know, pizzazz that a little girl wants. The size I will be showing here is going to be roughly a 4T, 5T. It's very changeable based on your child's size or the child that you're making it for. So basically, we're going to make this panel, and then we're going to seam it up like this, and we'll make a little mark for the so there's the inseam, and then there'll be the rise. And I've done single crochets here because we're going to fold this over and close it up so we can encase some elastic, and then we're going to also make a little drawstring, so you have both the elastic and the drawstring to help keep them on. But anyway, I mean, you can just alter how many rows you have at the top, alter how many rows of half doubles you have. You know, you can just alter anything here that you need. Or you could just do it by changing hook size, you know, or the weight of the yarn. I'm using a 4-weight yarn for this particular pair of pants. I'm using the Joann's Big Twist Value Acrylic. It's 100% acrylic, and it is a 4-weight. This colorway is light rose. So you're going to need more than a single skein. I thought for a while I might get away with one skein, but no. So we have a second skein. This is the first one I was working out of. It says machine washable, do not tumble dry. I have washed and tumble dried this, and it holds up just fine. But of course, if you want to protect what you've made, please be sure to hand wash. You are going to need for this some yarn. You are going to need elastic, which I'm now realizing is not on my table, but basically you're going to want either 1/2 inch. I've got the thick stuff here, but I don't have the 1/2 inch. You're going to want this type of elastic, but either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. This is 2 inch. This I use for Chomps's joggers, but for this you're going to want the thinner. You could always get something like this, and this type of elastic is very forgiving. If you just cut it in half, it'll be just fine. But yeah, you will need elastic. If you want to use the elastic, you can just do drawstring, and that's totally cool. I am going to use some just leftover scrap yarn that I have in this Big Twist Party. Thought that might be cute for a contrasting drawstring, but we'll get to that. For this particular size and this yarn, I'm going to use a 5mm crochet hook. I'm using these crochet hooks that I got from, I believe this was One Day Savings. So in conjunction with this tutorial, I'll also be filming my review of these hooks. So in case you see the same project in a hook review, you'll know what's going on. So yeah, I think that's just about it. I mean, you'll need a scissor at some point and your needle to weave in the ends, like all the usual crochet accoutrement that you normally use. Okay, but let's make our panel. So this is a pretty, clear this off the table. We don't need that quite yet. We are, for this size, going to take our crochet hook, take our yarn. We're going to make our slip knot. I've been teaching Bingo how to crochet, so I'll show you how I've been teaching her to do her slip knot. You did it! Okay, but we need to start with a chain of 41, and basically what you want to do is make the chain so it roughly fits around half of the child, because we're just going to make the leg. So if you just kind of measure it to fit around the half of the child, go for it. You are going to want an odd number. I have figured this one out for the shells at the bottom. So of course, if you change the width or that, you might have to recalculate your shells. And oops, yarn split on me. We're just going to chain our 41 here. I wasn't even counting. 1, 2, oops. No, 20 exactly. 21. Okay, so we've got our 41. If you want to be fancy, you can do it in the 3rd loop. I don't really feel the need to be that fancy. So basically what we're going to do is single crochet into the 2nd chain from the hook, and just single crochet down the entire length of your chain. And basically for this whole first portion, you're going to single crochet for 20 rows. And basically why I did it the way I did was I wanted a denser, closer stitch than double crochet across the waistline to, you know, make it not as stretchy. And also, you know, just to make sure nothing was showing through. We don't need to see pull-ups or underwears poking through our pants. So that's just why I did that. If you wanted to just do double crochets, yeah, I'm not gonna stop you. So I got the idea for these pants from Mama G Gear, and she made these wild hippie pants, and she's got a couple of videos where she describes how she did it. And Bingo saw them and she wanted some. So Mama G kind of described how she did it, and I totally ignored it and went my own way. So basically I'm going across the fabric like this. We're going like this. When Mama G makes hers, or the one she described, she goes down the length and then back up. And either way is perfectly fine. I went this route because it seemed to make more sense to me in how I could figure out to sew the legs together based on my sewing experience. So that's just why I did that. Yeah. She wears her little purple knit pants all the time. They're not knit, these are crocheted pants. And now when she first started asking, she told me she wanted pink. And then right before I started making, I said, oh, so you want pink pants? And she said, no, I want purple. So I said, okay. So I made her purple pants. And then of course, after I finished them, she said, where's my pink pants? So now she is getting her pink pants. It's this kind of pretty ballet, almost pink. So we're getting to the end of the row. Our final single crochet, will chain one. We'll turn our work. And for me, the chain one at the end of the row never counts as a stitch. So just chain one and continue to single crochet down the line. This should give you a total of 40 stitches at this point. And we're just going to keep those 40 stitches in for these 20 rows. So we're just going to single crochet for 20 rows. And I think I will depart here and come back when I have my 20 rows. So I will see you in the blink of an eye. Okay, and now we are back, and once you have completed your 20 rows of single crochet, we're ready to move to the next part. So here's my full leg again. So we're done with the 20 rows. We're going to do a slight increase, and then we're going to do a section of half double crochets. Now, the section of half double crochets, to me, the single crochets are kind of a stiffer waistband. We're going to end up folding this to make an enclosure for the elastic and the drawstring, because I'm going to do both. You can do either one or both if you like. The half doubles are more to create a denser fabric for the back sides, shall we say. And it's going to help us remember where to finish sewing for the rise of the pants. So at this point, we're going to take out our stitch marker, our progress keeper, and put this back in. I've got my 20 rows of single crochets. Let's make sure I'm on camera. And we're going to chain one, turn our work, and like I said, we're going to do 14 total rows of half double crochet, but the first row is going to include our increases. So we're going to do one half double in the first stitch, and then one half double in the next stitch, and one half double in the next stitch. So 3 half double crochets. In the 4th stitch, we're going to put 2 half doubles. There we go. And that's a repeat. 3 half doubles, increase. 3 half doubles, increase. And basically we are trying to increase our stitch count to a total of 49 stitches. So again, 1, 2, 3, and then increase. So 2 half doubles in the same stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, and 2 half doubles in the next stitch, and oops, 1, 2, 3, and 2 half doubles in the next stitch. Oh, my yarn is bunching. Oh no! I'm to the end of the skein, and we know it never likes to play nicely when it gets to this point. Okay, so we've just done our 2 half doubles, so we're going to go and do 3 half doubles in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 2 half doubles. Now 1, 2, 3, and now let's do 2 half doubles in the next stitch, and 1, 2, 3, and 2 half doubles in the next stitch. If you like to think about it, it's like a polka. 1, 2, 3, dun, dun. Shall we dance? Dun, dun, dun. Oh no! I'm off on my count. It should end with 3 half doubles. I've got 4 stitches. Where did I mess up? 1, 2, 3. Dun, dun, dun. 1, 2, 3. 2 and 1. 1, 2, 3. 2 and 1. 2, 3. 2 and 1. 1, 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 2, 3. Increase. 1, 2, 3. Increase. Did I miscount? Huh. I must have had one too many stitches in my starting chain. Okay. Oh, I was crocheting, not knitting. Okay, how are we going to solve this? Okay, I'm going to... So if I go, I will have 50, right? Or will I have 49? Oh, I'm all befuddled. 2, 3. That'll be 50. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Okay, so we need 49. We're going to just do a half double crochet in each of the remaining stitches. It will get us to our total of 49. So I'm looking for 49 stitches to make my shells come out at the end. Yeah, so basically just make sure you've got 49 stitches. I do not know quite what's gone on. Okay, but that is our first half double row. So we're gonna chain 1, turn our work, and put a half double in each stitch down the row. And you should always have 49 stitches. And we're going to do that, as I said, if I can get that stitch in, there we go, for 14 rows. And sorry, that plane sounded funny. Yeah, 14 rows. So I will catch back up with you at the end of my 14th half double crochet row. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave that blunder in the tutorial because, you know, it happens to everybody. So hopefully your count was correct and you didn't needed it, and you would have you didn't needed it. That was not proper English at all. You didn't need it, but if your count was off like mine was, maybe it helped you. You know, the art of crochet or knitting or any craft also includes the art of fudging a bit to make things work in the end. And why hide that? Okay, like I said, I will catch back up with you at the end of my 14th row of half double crochets. There we go. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so now I have completed my 14th row of half double crochets. And it's time to start pretty much the main section of the pants. We're going to chain one. In this whole thing, that chain one just doesn't count as a stitch. It's a nothing. So don't pay attention to it. And then next we're just going to do 22 rows of double crochets. And this is merely because I am lazy and wanted it to go a little faster. So if you wanted to keep going, like if you wanted to do this whole thing in singles, more power to you. If you wanted to keep going in half doubles, you know, you do you. I'm doing double crochets at this point because the little legs will go quicker, and we're basically just going to go and do our half doubles down the row, chain one, turn your work, and keep on going. You should continue to have 49 stitches. If you happen to accidentally grow one or something, just go ahead and at some point correct down by doing like a crochet two together or something. This is not precision work. If you end up with an extra stitch here or there, it's not going to really cause that much of a problem, unless you're like near the end and you're like 14 stitches off. Then you're gonna notice. You're probably gonna have a bell bottom of some sort. But we're just going to keep, oops, I was chit-chatting and joking and totally lost track of my stitch. We're gonna keep on keeping on with 22 rows of double crochet. And as I said, that's basically going to be just the bulk of the pants. At the end of this, we're going to do a little decorative shell across the bottom. And then I will show you how, well, that's not how you do a double crochet. There you go. Show you how to sew it on up and give yourself a pair of pants. So, yep, we'll have to sew it up, make the waistband. I'm going to do both an elastic, I almost said an electric. That would be interesting. An elastic waistband, and we're going to do a drawstring. So, show you that, how to install those, and then you'll have a pair of pants for your little one to run around in. So I will keep talking a little bit longer so you can see an entire row. There you go. Chain one, turn your work, and just double crochet in that first stitch, and straight on till morning, as they say in Peter Pan. Okay, I will part from you here and check back with you when I have my 22 rows done and I am ready to begin my shell stitch. Okay, bye-bye. So we have made the leg of the pants. We have the first leg already completed. Here it is. So we are finishing the second leg of the pant. What we need to do is put a row of shell stitches on the bottom of the pant. So what we're going to do, chain up one. We're going to turn our work. We're going to go back into the first stitch here and do a single crochet. We're going to yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and I'm double checking to make sure this is the shell I did here. Yes, it is. Okay. Skip 2 stitches. In the third stitch, we're going to put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to skip 2 stitches. In the third stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. Yarn over, skip 2 stitches. In the third stitch, put 5 double crochets. 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2. In the third stitch, put a single. I yarned over. Why did I yarn over? Skip 2, third stitch, put a single crochet. Put the other pant leg on top of my yarn and it's weighing it down. Okay, skip 2. We are going to put 5 double crochets into the third stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2. In the third stitch, put a single crochet. Skip 2. In the third stitch, put 5 double crochets. Get your yarn all tangled. Untangle it. 2. See, this is why you should put the yarn on your left side, Erin. Okay. 3, 4, 5. 2 double. Skip 2. Single crochet in the next stitch. Skip 2, 5 double crochets in the next stitch. Skip 2, put a single crochet in the third stitch. Skip 2, 5 double crochets in the third stitch. Oh, there's a knot in the yarn. Okay. And 5. Skip 2, single crochet in the third stitch. Skip 2, 5 double crochets in the third stitch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're just leaving that in. 4 and 5. Did it slightly change color after that join? No. Trick of the lights. Okay, skip 2. Single crochet in that stitch. Skip 2. In the third stitch, we are going to do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what we're going to do is skip 2 stitches. In the last stitch, do a single crochet. Now, at this point, you could tie off and be done. Or you could seam it up. I had not decided how I wanted to seam this up today. So let's, you know what, no, it's easier if you do the legs second. So go ahead, tie off. So do another chain 1, snip, pull it tight. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to assemble our pants. So we've got leg 1, leg 2. Let's talk about this in theory before we actually start doing it. What you're going to do is we're going to have a seam here. So you're going to have one of your legs like this. And your other leg is going to be like this. We want the seam to be on the inside. It is an inseam. So what we're going to do is we are going to, you can attach it however you want. If you want to sew it, if you want to single crochet it, if you want to slip stitch it. This is your choice. But we are going to do it to where we started adding the grading there. So we'll sew I don't understand what Bingo was singing. I have to go check. 1 second. Checked on Bingo, sat back down, started talking and explaining the tutorial, and didn't even pay any attention to what I was doing. Okay, so what we're going to do is sew this together, seam it together, whatever. And, or do we want to do it this way? So that's not, I mean, there's a couple different ways you can do this, depending on where you want the seams to show up. No, we're going to do it this way. To me, it's the easiest to identify. Okay, so make sure your pants are folded for whatever you consider to be the wrong side out. We worked it flat, so it is kind of just interchangeable, in my opinion. It's going to depend on how the shells look to you. So what we're going to do is where's my crochet hook? There's my crochet hook. And here is my yarn. Again, it's on the right side because I moved it like a silly goose. Okay. I need to move this so I can actually use it. Let's make sure I am in camera. Okay, so I have this folded in half just so it's a little easier for me to see. So we have all of our singles, and we did 14 rows. So we did 20 rows of single crochet. Then we did 14 rows of half double. And then we switched to single crochet. And what we're going to do here is, oh, she's grown so tall since I designed these pants. Okay, these are going to be capris on her this summer, I think. Okay. So, this is what I'm calling the wrong side of the fabric. I've got wrong side showing, so you want right side together. You're going to take this, and we're going to go in the first stitches there of the side, kinda. There you go. Oh, I did a slip stitch, or I did a slip knot on my hook off camera because I am good like that. So we've got technically right sides held together, wrong sides facing. I am going to do, I'm going to do slip stitches. So I'm just going to slip stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch all the way down in each row, doing the best I can to match it up. I'm just going to slip stitch all the way down. You could whip stitch this if you prefer to sew. You can do whatever method you want to attach these panels to each other. But basically we're going to slip stitch or attach all the way through where we did the half double crochets. So stop joining when you get to the half double crochets. When you get through the half double crochets. I keep wanting to catch it like I'm doing a single crochet. Maybe I should have just done a single crochet, but I didn't want it bulky on the seam. That's what I was debating. Like, I kind of prefer to do, I hope I only caught one. I kind of prefer to do it with single crochets. So we're just trying to do 1 stitch per row. To sew it together. It's not going to look professional. This isn't professional. These are homemade pants. Oops. I split the yarn. And keep going. So I am almost to my half doubles. Okay, I'm now in my half double rows, and I'm going to keep going through my half double rows, connecting, oh that's just through 1 stitch, connecting until I get down here at the end of my half double rows. Okay. The leg portion of the pants are the double crochets. And I bet you what it was I was being too lazy and didn't want to finish it because I didn't want to have to put them together. Okay, continue slip stitching all the way down. I think it's about 35 rows. 34 rows, as we did. 20 rows of single crochet and then 14 rows of half double for bingo size a while ago. We don't talk about that. Okay, 2 more. Let me check, make sure we're still in the half doubles there. Yep. Okay. Do one here. The last half double. That is indeed the last half double in the others panel. Good to go. Okay. So now, this is where we make the decision of how we want to sew it together. Okay, I'm going to stop. It's going to be easier to understand if we do it the other way. So, chain 1 to secure your yarn, clip your yarn. pull it tight. We're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. So hold the right side of your fabric together, wrong side out, whatever you consider the right side, wrong side. Doesn't matter. Like I said, we turned the work, so there really isn't a right side, wrong side unless you're like super picky about what direction you want your shells at the bottom facing. I frankly feel like if anyone's looking close enough to figure out that one leg of the shells is the wrong side out, you're looking too close at my kid. You can back off. Okay, so I put it, again off screen, put a slip knot on the hook and can get the first 2 rows, and we are going to slip stitch these 34 rows together as evenly and neatly and best as we can. It's only roughly 34 stitches. We can do it, right? I do think when I get to the half doubles though, I often throw extra stitches in here or there. It's just sometimes they're a weird height and I just don't know what I'm doing. So again, we're going to do this all the way through the half doubles, and when we get there we will chain 1 and pull tight to secure, and then we will do the rest. So we are on the second seam. There will be, I know you're going to laugh at me, but there's really 1 seam for the rest of the legs, and then there'll be 1 more seam where we insert the drawstring, and I add elastic there as well to just reinforce it and keep the pants up on the kiddo's body. I am of course using acrylic here, which is going to stretch. If you used cotton, it would be more breathable, it would be less stretchy, probably a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I started this with acrylic and we forge ahead, don't we? We will go ahead and make the drawstring. We'll do that in just a bit after we are, actually no, we can do it. We'll put the elastic in and then we'll deal with the drawstring. How does that sound? Sounds good to me. Good. Sounds good to me too. Drink of water. Am I really off there? Let me check. Not that too far off. You want to periodically check to make sure your sides are lining up and you've got your double crochets are going to align with your double crochets when you get to the end. I'm going to do 2 more here. And then 2, oops, pulled it off screen. 1, and then 2. Do I split the yarn on myself? Oh no. Okay. To get it to line up a little better, I'm going to go back into that same stitch that I just did on this leg, but go down 1 more on the other leg. There we go. Might look a little funny, but it's not that bad. Okay, chain 1, clip your yarn, there you go, pull it tight. Okay, so we have the waist, or we have the sides of the pants connected. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You can check to see if you've got a nice seam there. I think we do. Okay, here's what we're gonna do now. Now, oh, I got stuck to some Velcro. We're gonna sew this as, we're gonna sew the legs as one giant seam all the way across. So start at one side, whichever side you want, it doesn't matter, down by the shells. So here, straight up the leg, get to the crotch. This is a little kid's crotch. It doesn't need a gusset. Don't worry. So go straight across. I might recommend when you get to this part to go over it and then back and then over it again, just to reinforce it. And then we're going to go all the way down to the other end and we'll stop here. So just a preview of what we're going to do. This sounds wackadoo, but it works. Don't worry. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to have to actually pause this and come back, finish it later because it's time to cook dinner. Okay, I will see you shortly. Okay, I'm back. It is the next day. I'm going to seam up these legs. Got my crochet hook. I'm going to put a slip knot on it. I'm going to again just do slip stitches up the leg. So I'm going to that first single crochet there and then the single crochet that started the other side. Grab the correct yarn. That's the tail. Here's my working yarn. And now just slip stitch. I suppose you could chain 1 there if you wanted. Up to you. I obviously didn't. So yeah, I'm just going to go all the way up the legs here with a slip stitch to seam this leg circle together. FYI, Brian is out and about with the kiddos, and little Miss Bingo has had a little problem, so he might be texting me here. Just letting you know if there are breaks or something. It's hard when you are the youngest of the friend group. Okay, so we're going to just keep going up, slip stitching. Now these are double crochets we've done here, so you're going to want to put probably 2 slip stitches per row, but you just kind of do whatever feels right to you, and you want to check to make sure you're kind of staying even. You know, sometimes I'll get to seaming together and not realize it's going at a wee bit of an angle there, you know. And I'm slip stitching, not single crocheting, Erin. There we go. And just do your best. Doesn't have to be perfect. They are handmade. They are handmade. Up the leg. Up. 1 second. I feel like that one's a little off kilter. Yeah. Well. 7. Okay, no, we're good. Okay. Keep on keeping on. There we go. Not too talkative here because it's kind of concentration station here, isn't it? Luckily it is only 22 rows of double crochets that we've done here, plus the 1 row of shells. So it's not a ton of stitches, but of course this is all if you followed along with my size. You could have gone much further should you be making them for a larger child, much less if you made it for a smaller child. I mean, you could try to, oh, I split the yarn. Try to do this for an adult. So I did say the crotch when we were seaming this together. Don't worry, you don't need a gusset. These are for kids. If you're an adult, you might need a little room there in the crotchular region, which I really don't like that word, but it is the technical real word for that portion of the pants. So I'm not being naughty saying crotch. 'Tis the technical term for that area of the garment. There is another C word that I consider especially vulgar, and I do not use it ever. And I know among the younger generation, I don't know if they're trying to reclaim it, but they like to refer to themselves and each other by it. I can't fathom that word. Don't say it if you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Okay, it's because I feel the need to fill the silence. Okay, I'm done. What words don't you like? No, I don't want to start that discussion in the comments. Let's not do that. Okay, we're going to keep on keeping on. I'm going to take a drink of my water and reset. Oh, my straw is stuck to the bottom of the cup. Oops. No. Give me that loop back. Phew. It's almost disaster zone there. Can you see what I'm doing? Is my hand in the way? I think you can see. Okay. Get in there. No, not just one. I want at least 2 strands there to make it more secure. No, let's not do that. I think that stitch only got 1. That's okay. Doesn't matter. As long as, like, you're pretty even, pretty consistent, and your 2 pieces of fabric are playing nicely together. Okay, so now we're getting to the crotch seam. And what I'm going to do is this stitch here. And then, why do you have such a big thing there? That's weird. I guess we'll just go in that same spot twice here. Okay, and now we're actually to the crotch area. I am going to kind of fudge it, and where we slip stitched the 2 rows together, I'm going to force another slip stitch there. Okay, and now I'm going to get these yarn strips out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and slip stitch like 4 or 5 times here. So that's 2. 3. Let's go 4. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 here. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to go back over this area again and just try to shove in a couple extra stitches here. Let me check my battery. Battery's doing good. Okay. I'm going to go back through, because this is going to be one of the stress zones for, what am I doing? What have I done? Okay, let's just go through this one again. Stress zones for the garment. There's going to be a lot of play, a lot of tug, a lot of movement in this area. And we just want to give it all the chance it can here. Now, let's make sure we're picking up both sides, lady. Shove them in when you can. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here, and instead of going one more time, I'm just going to kind of try to slip stitch through the stitches we've already made, just to move our yarn back to where we need it, and not add a ton of extra bulk there for her, because I mean, we don't want to we don't want to make them feel like they're wearing a diaper. I'm going to just use my chain here as a slip stitch point. There we go. Okay, so now, I hope you could see that. I'm sorry, I was having to look pretty closely at my work to figure out where to stick the darn hook. Okay, let's make sure we're lining back up again. Okay, and continue on. Again, we're looking for probably about 2 slip stitches per row, but if you get 1 every now and again, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's okay. All that matters is at the end, you have your fabric stitched together, sewn together in such a way that it stays on the person's body, right? I am by no means obsessed with perfection, as you can tell throughout this tutorial. I don't like where I stuck that, but we're going with it and we're moving forward. Oh, come on. I am using Big Twist Value here, and I'm having quite a lot of splitting, more than usual. Actually, I do find certain varieties of the Big Twist Value do kind of, are more loosely wound, I guess I'll say. I know I keep moving it closer to my face so you can see what I'm doing. something somewhere. Okay. Phew. Stressful. Tough business here. No, I'm not single crocheting. I am slip stitching. Get your act together, Erin. Now I can see this, all of the talking to myself and whatnot, could be a reason why people prefer to sew something like this rather than single crochet or slip stitch it together. I can see that. I'm using the hole. Total preference. You, like I said before, you do not have to crochet any of these seams I am crocheting. You can totally get out your yarn needle and just start whip stitching, matcher stitching, whatever stitch you wish, you can do. If you can dream it, you can be it. Oh, come on. Totally missed it. Fine. Holes on both sides. My thumb is falling asleep of all bizarro things. Okay. Let's check to make sure we're lining up nicely here. Yeah, we're still pretty good. I ate Doritos with lunch and they are not sitting well in my tummy. I also had bacon on my sandwich. Bacon, I'm sorry, I know there is a hardcore group of people that love bacon. It's the grease. My tummy can't tolerate it very well. I'm going to actually have to stop here for a moment and go get a Tums. 1 second. I'm back. It's probably the TMI zone of the channel, huh? I do have to be, to continue the TMI extravaganza, be careful with Tums because I have a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones. And so I need to watch that, putting too many Tums into my system, because Tums are basically calcium bicarbonate, and in the kidney that adds extra calcium, which can give, I don't know, it somehow helps precipitate the calcium oxalate kidney stones, which makes sense. Calcium, calcium. You're giving your body one of the building blocks, right? Getting to the end. Okay, so now, oops, that single crochet, get slipped to that single crochet. We're at the end. Chain 1, trim your yarn, pull it tight. Okay, we got a lot of yarn ends, but we have a pair of pants. That looks cute. Okay, so now you can decide how you want to sew this together. I'm going to keep this on the reverse side. I'm going to cheat. I'm not even going to sew in those ends. I'm going to conceal that in this waistband that we're going to create soon. First, what we need to do is, if you are adding elastic, you do not need to add elastic. I've got, is this a 1/4 inch? No, this is 1/2 inch elastic. Yeah, this is 1/2 inch elastic. 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, whatever you want to use works. It's just your preference. You're going to need, basically measure your kid's waist and do about that same amount. So, but actually no, add like at least 1/2 inch so you have some seam allowance to work with. Stay here. I'm sorry, I am off screen. I am using the measuring grid on my table here to cut my elastic. Lock your rotary cutter, people. Don't do what I did that last year and mess your finger up because you roll over it. Gosh, that hurts so bad. Doesn't take much. I just cut off 22 inches for bingo. As you can see, it's going to go around just fine. I guess a good way, I mean, you've already kind of measured to get their waist. You could just kind of measure versus the waist of the pant. Yeah, just kind of want it to be about the same. Doubled up though, because this is flat. And it's going to have to, of course, go around the whole way. Okay, so now you can do this any way you want. Shove it through your sewing machine. I don't have my sewing machine currently set up. Do I have a needle already threaded? Well, no, Erin. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? That would be too smart of you to do that. Okay. Sewing needle. What thread do I have in here? Ah, it's not going to be seen. We can use some waist thread. Thread. You don't need much. Just a decent amount of thread. On to a needle. This is elastic, so you're going to want to make sure you're using a sturdier needle. How many? Okay. You know you're getting old to win. There you go. You just need enough to sew the ends of your elastic together. If I were doing this on a sewing machine, I would be sure to use a zigzag stitch. It just gives it a little more play. You can do a straight stitch though. It's not going to be the end of the world. Some knots. Okay, so just overlap it a bit. Stick my needle through, catch both sides, and I am going to kind of just zigzag it up a bit here. Watch your fingers, don't stab yourself. And if you do, don't get blood on your garment. She laughs because she knows. I'm just going to go up and then back down. So not a ton. We're not here to judge my hand sewing skills. This is why Erin uses a sewing machine at every possible juncture. Let's go across here. Okay, now I'm just gonna go here and match up my zigzags a little bit. Close enough. So I would not, at this point, for this purpose, and I don't know if I said this, but I would not recommend going below a 1/2 inch elastic here. 1/4 inch, it's not giving you enough support, let's be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna do a quick middle knot. Snip, snip. I'll leave this threaded because I actually have a little itty bitty mending project off to the side that I'm gonna have to do shortly. Anyway, okay. We've got our elastic sewn together. We're gonna slip it on there. Now, at this point, you're going to decide how much of a waistband you want. You really want to keep it kind of within the single crochets you have there. So I'm going to go about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6 rows of single crochets. Fold it, and that's going to be my waistband. Oh, come on, I piled a bunch of yarn on top of my fabric clips, didn't I? Oh, Erin. Okay. But that's basically what I want to do. And at this point, I am just stab it so it stays put. Okay, I'm going to need to get a yarn needle because I am going to hand sew this. So what you can do is try to sew this so the yarn does not show through on the wrong side. So get your strand of yarn that you're going to use for this and thread your needle. I'm going to double up. You do not have to double up. You do whatever you're comfortable with. Whatever you want to do is right and fine. Double knot. That was horrible. If you're going to double knot, at least get them close to each other, right? Ooh, right on top of each other. Okay. Got my yarn. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. And so I'm going to go here at the bottom and just catch that. And I'm going to try to just catch the loops of the next thread under and pull it through. Now, I'm going to snatch that like that to secure it. But who's got time to sew in ends? Conceal. Don't feel. Don't let it show. Okay, so if you kind of just sneak through like that, you're not going to see. I'm going to do a running stitch all the way around. And if you conceal it like that, why are we catching? What are we catching on? Oh, it's the knot. You little jerk of a knot. Okay. Oh, I caught on the stitch I already did. That's what I did. There you go. Okay. Now tuck you away and come here. Okay, so running stitch is you just keep it go up, move it down the lower fabric, and then bring it up a little further on the upper fabric. And we're going to have to recenter where my needle is here. There we go. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. So now we've done the bottom fabric. I'm going to move it a little along here on the upper fabric. And now I'm going to catch it here and try to catch it in that seam allowance and in the stitches on the other side of our seam. Oh, come on, you naughty, naughty needle. Okay. And up, over, running stitch. Up. And we need to make sure our elastic stays tucked up in the band of the pants here that we're creating. And you just kind of want to try to keep it nice and flat so it's not bunching. So it's going to be nice and even for us when we're done. Don't pull it too tight. See, as you can see, we cannot see the stitches at all on the other side of the work. This is starting. Did I? No, okay. I need to kind of move the fabric around because we're getting to the edge there. Okay. Okay, let me try to kind of move the fabric out of the way on this next one. I don't know if I'm showing nicely where I'm going. So I'm just going into the next chain there. And then on the underside, I'm picking up the legs of the single crochet on the same row that's just under the top there. And then I'm just bringing the yarn up from the bottom through the next stitch. And then I'm just going to the next stitch here and doing the same thing. Catching, just like you were weaving in an end. You want to keep them on like the same side of the fabric because you don't want it poking through. And here's one part where it's good to see if you're keeping it nice and flat. Your seam should pretty much be on top of itself. So I can tell I'm doing a decent job here keeping it not too wonky, which I love. But if you're just kind of making sure you're always in that chain, always picking up the legs from the same row of stitches, you should be even. Should be nice. And don't, make sure you're not pulling too tight. You want the kiddo to have some ease of movement, you know, the ability to eat a little bit and get a little, you know, Thanksgiving tummy. laughing at my own jokes. Okay, now here I'm just going to go into the seam allowance. I'm going to come back up on the other side. Okay. You're going to restart. Oh, my crochet hook! Say, halfway there. Let's keep on keeping on. Oh, my battery is yelling at me. I'm going to go switch my batteries. I'll be right back. This is where I started. I'm going to kind of just tuck this in a bit. Okay, we are done there. Now, at this point, You'll probably want to sew in your ends and all that good stuff. I'm not going to sew in my ends quite yet. So, kind of decide which part you think looks prettiest, nicest, whatever. Oh no! That knot ended up on that side of the work. That's okay. Pull that through to the back side so I can sew those ends there. Okay. Press, pull, coerce. There you go. Okay. I think this side looks a little better here for the front of my pant. The only reason they're kind of omni-sided, it doesn't really matter. Only reason it matters here is because we are adding a drawstring. Now, gotta make the drawstring. I'm gonna use some Lion Brand Rewind yarn for this. I'm just gonna use the same 5mm crochet hook I have been using. And I am going to chain, I'm going to chain a yard. Let's see how many chains that is. 4, 5, 6. So I have chained 125 to get roughly a yard of chain. And now all I'm going to do is flip this over. I'm going to slip stitch into the bump all the way down. So skip your first bump, go into your second, and so we're using the back of the chain. We're using the third loop, the bump, I don't know what else you call it, but we're just going to slip stitch all the way back down to the beginning of the chain, and that's how I'm going to make my I-cord, whatever you want to call it, for the drawstring. You could also just use cording you have. You don't have to make an I-cord. If you just want to thread a couple of strands of yarn through it and call it good, you want to braid some yarn, use it. If you just want to like tie a decorative bow and sew it on the front or something, go for it. You do you. But I'm going to add a drawstring. No, this is riveting. Riveting. And back, when you get to the end, just do your chain 1, clip your yarn, and pull it through and pull it tight. You're going to have 2 yarn ends on one end, and your other end is just going to be kind of a blunt edge. Okay, so now what we need to do is wonder where we put our purple thing. I don't know. Okay. For sewing, they make this little thing. to help you pull things through. So what we're going to do is pick a spot here on one side of the pants. This isn't going to work because it's curved. Normally use this when it's a giant tube, and then you work it through, don't ya, Erin? Erin. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. So what we could have done is inserted this when we inserted the elastic, but no, we didn't do that. We didn't do that, did we? We did not. No. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna get our yarn needle. We can get a trusty yarn needle. You're gonna thread these ends through our yarn needle. This is tape yarn. It's always fights with me in the yarn needle. Okay. And now, okay, we're gonna do the best that we can. We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna pick where we want one of our ends to come out. And we're gonna just push the yarn needle through a little bit. But we're gonna keep it on the inside of the work. And yeah, you're probably gonna lose the needle a bit. That's okay. Just kind of keep pushing it through so you can see where the tip is a little bit and you won't lose it. Now what you really are hoping here is that your yarn doesn't come off. Okay, we're just going to keep sticking it through, pulling it through a little bit. Oh, I can tell I've caught some of the yarn on the inside. Oh no. Okay. It's going to make things a little rough for Erin. That's okay. Keep on scrunching as much as we can. Okay. I'll pull it through here a bit. That's really where you're caught, isn't it? So what happened is I caught part of the ply of the yarn on my needle, and now it doesn't want to let the yarn come through it. Okay. Be very careful around the seam there, so you don't get caught like I did there earlier. I'm going to forge ahead and just assume I'm going to be able to yank really hard at some point and get it through. You know what assuming things does. That's right. Okay, let's bunch that up. Let's work you back in. To get you caught again. Okay. There we go. We got it moving. Okay. Got it moving. It loosened. Phew. So we're basically just going to keep on urging this through until we get back to the front here where we pick our stitch that we want everything to end on. Oh no, I didn't lose it. I didn't lose it. Okay, good. Oh man, I thought I lost it. Okay. Keep on going. Come on, we're almost there. Okay, so now we're going to pick the spot. Kind of matches on the other side of our work here, or on the other side of the seam, where we want the other end of the drawstring to come out at. And now we're going to pull the yarn through. Okay, I actually caught one of the yarn tails. That's what I pierced. So we're going to try to stick that back in. I'm sure I pierced more than one thing through there. Okay. Oops. So I'm just kind of pulling the yarn through and then stretching it back out to try to get a nice even edge end to our drawstrings. There you go. That's pretty good. Not too bad. Okay. So now we have little drawstrings to pull a little tighter, tie into a little bow. What you're going to want to do is hide these ends by, you know, just hiding them back up there in that I-cord. And then voila, you have a pair of kiddo pants. Of course, you're going to hide all these other ends too, but I'm not going to do that on camera because I've been filming this enough, people. Okay, so this is going to look a little weird probably in the editing because I've used two different devices to film this tutorial. I first started filming it on my cell phone, and then I had gotten the camera, so I finished it on the camera. Mostly because I no longer have, well, I have the tripod, but I don't have it set up properly so that I can do, so I can do my tutorials on it anymore. It's not set up. It is connected to a ring light. But anyway, you now have the ability to make some pants. Make some pants. Go forth and create. Let me know if you use this. Let me know what you think of it. Like I said, there's a million ways to make an I-cord. There's tons of ways to sew it together. You do whichever way you like best. I'm going to not hit the table because that bumps everything. And I'm going to sew in all these ends and get Bingo her pants. Oh, this is exciting. She's wanted these for a long time. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys later. Bye!